Thank you.
I welcome you, my dear friends, to our Voice of His Kingdom weekly devotion. Today we shall be taking our text from the book of Genesis, chapter 49, from verses 22 to 26. Let's read our text together. Joseph is a fruitful vine near a spring, whose branches climb over a wall. With bitterness, Acres attacked him. They shot at him with hostility. But his bow remained steady. His strong arms stayed limber because of the hand of the mighty one of Jacob, because of the shepherd, the rock of Israel, because of your father's God, who helps you, because of the Almighty, who blesses you with blessings of the heavens above, blessings of the deep that lies below, blessings of the breast and womb. Your father's blessings are greater than the blessings of the ancient mountains, than the bounty of the age-old hills. Let all these rest on the head of Joseph, on the brow of the prince among his brothers. Let's look at the background of our text. Sometime later, after that brief encounter with Ephraim and Manasseh, Jacob called his 12 sons together to speak prophetically into their lives and to pronounce his final blessings on them. In verse 1 and 2 of the text, the Bible records what he said as follows. Then Jacob called his sons and said, "Gather around me, so I can tell you what will happen to you in days to come. Assemble and listen, sons of Jacob. Listen to your father Israel." So from the firstborn Reuben to the lastborn Benjamin, he made prophetic pronouncements upon them. But the longest one was made upon Joseph. It is interesting to know that these pronouncements became realities on the hindsight. What he said about Judah regarding the scepter and the ruler's staff, not to depart him from there forever, reminds us of David, the king of Israel, who came from Judah, and of course Christ, who will rule as King of Kings over the nations forever and ever. So Joseph received a special blessing, deservedly so. He was God's instrument for saving Israel from the famine and hosting them in Egypt, till it was time for them to return to Canaan. He concluded by saying to Joseph, "Let all these rest on the head of Joseph, on the brow of the prince among his brothers." Let's look at the lessons from our text. My friends, parents have been advised to love their children equally and not to show favoritism when dealing with their children. The truth, however, remains that everyone is the architect of his own destiny or fortune, and everyone reaps what he or she sows. Reuben was the firstborn, but this is what he got in verse 3. Jacob said to him, "Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, the first sign of my strength, excelling in honor, excelling in power, turbulent as the waters. You will no longer excel. For you went up unto your father's bed, unto my couch, and defiled it." So his position was transferred to Joseph, whom Jacob elevated to receive all his blessings, and also made him a prince among his brothers. So Joseph earned his father's blessing above what others received by the following. His testament in Egypt saved the life of Jacob's family. He honored his father by forgiving the evil done to him by his brothers. He was also instrumental to Jacob's happy ending. So let's look at the lessons, my friends. In Genesis chapter 4, verse 4, Abel's offering was praised and accepted by God, even though he was the younger brother to Cain. But Abel brought fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flocks. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offerings. There is a lesson that our relationship with God is also very reciprocal. The underlying truth about the blessings we receive is that we receive God's blessings in proportion to our level of obedience and commitment to Him. Joseph excelled in this area in Egypt. Even though he was a slave in a foreign country, his reward from his father Jacob speaks volumes of the reciprocity obtained of his righteous lifestyle in Egypt. Thank you, my friends, for watching. God bless you.